Good afternoon, everybody. Holy banana bread. We've got a red day. We've got, oh boy, I've been talking about this month. January has been a fantastic month. We have absolutely made huge gains in the month. Well, oh boy, let's look at this. In one single day, we actually dipped. We dipped below the blue line. We dipped into red territory for the month, guys. That's how bad today is. Today is a red fest. Oh boy. We've started a little bit of recovery here in the last couple of candles, but I gotta say, I did not see this amount of insanity. So we got a lot of things that are going on today. Obviously, there's some huge dips on the market. So if you had cash to spend, today may not have been a very bad day to be spending cash. That's for sure. Oh boy. And if it can feel bad when we have a day like this, because when you look at something like silver, uh, and if you're not aware, silver dropped more than 20% today. So we definitely had, well, we can officially call this a crash. This is a bit of a crash. And what the heck's going on? Is it going to continue? Is that bad day that all the doomsayers have been warning us about? Is it here? Is it here? No, it's not. Yes, this is not a great day. Yes, it kind of sucks. But it's not the end. It's not the end of everything. When you compare today to where we were last year, especially in the metals, we're still way, way above the game. So we did experience a little bit of a correction. No ands, ifs about it. You have to look at the fact here that this, like if you just look at gold, gold has had pretty much a parabolic rally up to now. So even so, even with this crash, gold, if you go year to date, gold, it's still up about 18%. I mean, it's pretty good. And it's up about, if you look at the last year, gold is up about 65%. So I'm not super concerned. I'm not super concerned about the prices. Yeah, this is the type of thing that does happen. This is the stock market. If you guys have been here for any length of time, you've seen days like this. You've seen days where absolutely everything is on sale. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it so much. Obviously, I'm in some trades. I'm in some swing trades, and I actually was able to get out of one of them because while the market was in trouble, one stock just wasn't. And that was my Tesla trade. My Tesla trade moved into the green today. So that was kind of a nice little thing on the side for sure. So what the heck's going on? Let's break it down. There's kind of a couple. I would say there's three main drivers for what we're witnessing today. One, profit taking. We're at the end of the month. This is that time when people do take profits. We're seeing definitely some heavy profit taking. And honestly, the momentum we had to the upside, it was unsustainable. We knew we were going to get a correction eventually. That's kind of what we got. And that correction, well, it is the form of profit taking. Now, that's one main factor. Another factor too that kind of, well, guess who? Guess who stuck his nose in today? Well, the American administration in the form of Donald Trump, he nominated Kevin Warsh as the next Fed chair, basically to take over as soon as Papa Powell there is stepping down. And this guy's a pretty, this guy I think is, the market's not sure how to take Kevin, and that's caused a lot of uncertainty. It's also, I will say this, from his reputation, he's pretty hawkish. So he's not a very dovish replacement. So, which is actually very interesting, considering that Trump wants, well, he's been arguing that he wants the Fed, he wants that rate cut. this is not the guy who's going to do that. This guy's a bit more hawkish. So I think the market's a little confused about this one, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how Kevin Warsh turns out. I mean, keep in mind. I mean, Donald Trump did actually appoint. Jerome Powell was Donald Trump's appointment. All right, now. In addition to those two, and this is the third part of what's going on today, we had a little bit of a leverage unwind. So basically, we're looking at liquidations, especially in silver. Most of these are 50x, 100x in the COMEX. COMEX futures. Oh boy. We're not going to get too deep into the weeds on that, but obviously, when you put all three of these together, you get a pretty steep drop, and we're looking at that. So it's, it is what it is. And in addition to all of that, of course, we also still have some geopolitical tensions of the whole U.S.-Iran thing still floating in the breeze. I'm hoping we don't see that this weekend, because that could certainly take a situation like this, and it could drop us a bit more to start the month, to start February, if that were to happen. I'm hoping not. But yeah, what can I say? What can I say? The best thing when it comes to precious metals, a lot of times during bull markets with the precious metals, and this has been a consistent, there's often very violent corrections. And this is what I would call this a violent correction, because this is a lot for one day. And that's going to be fine. I mean, the thing is, the demand is still there for these guys. I'm perfectly, actually, when I sold out of my Tesla trade, I got into another trade. I actually got into IVN, so a gold trade. So I'm looking at this as being great places to get in, guys. So that video I dropped today, of course, perfect timing, right? I drop a income video on gold, silver, and copper on a day when all hell breaks loose. Who knew? But the reality is those ETFs, if those are ETFs that align with your investment strategy, these are great days. This is a great day to be getting into things like that, because you're getting a good discount. You're definitely getting a good discount for sure. The big thing to keep in mind, though, guys, when it comes to gold, when it comes to silver, when it comes to, well, anything that's a commodity, commodities are not really short-term investments. And I know we like to look at the income and things like that. Well, volatility like this is actually pretty good for the covered call market. So, but they are longer-term investments. These guys are all going to be fine. There's no need to panic. There's no need to go, to go selling all your precious metals. They'll be fine. They'll bounce back. If anything, this is just an opportunity to get in and take a look at what you can find. So, with all of that being said, let's look at the market. Let's actually take a look here. So, all right, the TSX currently down 3.36%. And we know what's pulling the TSX down. Obviously, materials are pulling it down big time, but we're getting some red right across the board. And you'll see that when we go to the heat map. The heat map's pretty darn red, guys. So we are looking at 3.36 down. We pretty much, well, that number pretty much erased our monthly. So right now, year to date, 0.36%. So we're just into a green January now, because we erased everything. All of this just gone, bang, in 1 second. So it happens. It certainly happens. All right, let's look a little bit south of the border. So the the S&P 500, they're actually they're doing a little better. They're still quite well above that blue line. So it looks like they're going to have a green month. They are down 0.57. Technology, so NASDAQ has moved into red territory for the month. So they're back below that blue line. Now they've got about 20 minutes left to try to get themselves back up there. So we'll see if they can do it, but it may be a red month for the Nasdaq. The Dow Jones, actually, they're not down that much. They're only down 0.43. So the industrial stocks, they've actually held up pretty well today. And the little guys, the Russell, they're down 1.37, but they're well above that blue line. So it will be a green month for the Russell. We would need something very major to happen in the next 20 minutes for that to change. Now, oh boy, let's take a look here. So here's gold. It's been mostly downhill for gold today. We are now below the 5,000 mark again. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. So yeah, gold pretty much erased a lot of growth here. But that's not the big story. Oh, here's the big one. Silver. So silver is currently down 29.52%. It's still falling. At one point, silver wicked all the way down here to 74 cents. So I'm still highly bullish on this, on silver. So guys, if you've been thinking about getting into silver and you're on the sidelines, this could be an opportunity for you. It could be. Depending on your risk profile, and if you're like, if you're willing to get in. Now, copper took a little hit today, down 4.69%. But platinum, oh boy, yeah, platinum followed suit, down 18.82%. Now, oil was down for most of the day, but it has recovered in the afternoon. Currently, oil is actually up. So it's up 0.78%. And, Bitcoin, it's down. Oh, yeah, it's still underneath that 85,000. And you guys know I do not like seeing this below 85,000. This is not good news for Bitcoin with them staying there. So hopefully, I want to see them on the other side of this by the end of the weekend. If we're still here at the beginning of next week, I'll be even more concerned than I am now. So Bitcoin, come on, let's do something. Ethereum also down 5.17%. And with crypto being down, oh boy, I'm afraid to look at this. MSTE, everybody's favorite ETF to hate, $3.99. So, oh boy, oh. And there were a lot of you that wanted to get in at 5. I sure hope that you're not kicking that decision if that's something that you did. All right, let's switch to the heat map. That's a pretty dominant red map. I did refresh these as well, guys, just before the show started. So we're looking at red right across the board. Even the banks. Royal Bank down 0.66, TD 0.57. BMO's down a full 2.83%. Scotiabank down 1.45. Of course, our materials, that's where, look at this. You can see our non-energy materials. So look, Cameco down 7.30. Barrick Gold down 10.64. Oh yeah, even tech .A down 7.62. Oh, and there's my London gold today, down 13.16%. Yikes. If there was any winner in the Canadian market today, it's actually industrial. And it's kind of interesting. If you guys remember, we saw the Dow Jones Industrial wasn't down very much in the States. So same idea up here in Canada, like Enbridge is only down 0.20. WCN is actually up 0.58. So not too bad at all for our industrial stocks. Oil is down, but I'm surprised, because oil right now is actually up. So oil's up a tiny bit, but you can see Canadian Natural Resources down quite a bit, 1.44. Tourmaline is kind of the odd oil company out. They're actually up 0.03. So hopefully we see a little bit of better in here. Now, heading to the United States. And it's a really interesting look. So we've got, the red's not as pervasive as it is in Canada, but you've got NVIDIA down 1.13. But then look at the rest of tech. Apple's up 1%. Google's up 0.1. Now, Microsoft is still down, but, that's a different issue. That was yesterday's issue. Tesla. And here's Tesla up 3.95. So Tesla was my trade. I finished that one, and like I said, and honestly, I was gonna leave Tesla alone, but I just wanted to free up the capital I had in Tesla because I wanted to make a gold. I wanted to get into a gold trade. So yeah, so there's Tesla for you. All right, heading over to well, our crypto friends. Now it is a red day on the market, so we're gonna pick a we'll pick a green one. There's more than 15,000 of these altcoins, and I just like to feature one each show. It's usually I'm usually not super kind to them, but maybe today will be a day I'll be kind. No, let's grab this little green one right here. Let's see what we got. Um, Voxies. There we go. Guys, this is Voxies. It's worth 1 cent. It's got a cute little icon over here. Oh gosh, and look at this. It looks like a mountain range. It looks like a place you could go and have a picnic. Oh, what a wonderful little coin this is. Yeah, no, it's not. I'm sorry. I tried. I tried to be nice. Yeah, Voxies, I'm never gonna own it. I don't trust these little coins. I call them crap coins because they're like going to the casino, throwing your dice on the craps table, and watching as the house walks away with your money. Same idea with these guys. Now, they might, I don't know what this coin does. Maybe it does something, maybe it has a function, but if you are interested in something like Voxies, and I realize my head is kind of in the middle there. There we go. Let's move me to the middle. Homework. Read. I had forgotten that Rogers was doing that to me this week. Rogers, get your act together. Sorry about that, guys. All week, Rogers have been sending these little micro outages, and they're annoying me a lot, a lot. Needless to say. Um, all right, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Voxy. So if you're interested in this coin, read the white paper. I would even recommend following some of the developers on well, on social media. Find out what's going on. A lot of them are pretty chatty too, but for the most part, guys, you're not going to make money on something like Voxies. If you're looking to make money in crypto, quite honestly, stick with the big coins. Stick with your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your XRP, your Solana, Cardano, and gosh darn it, even the Dogecoin. Much better place to be. All right, now we can get into the chat. Miss K is in first with a happy Friday. Well, hello, Miss K. Good to see you. Brian is in. Good afternoon, everyone. And Brian says, I was always told it's not polite to double dip. Why did the markets fall so hard when I bought the dip already? I know. I know. Well, needless to say, I was glad today. I still had some I still had some T cash to cash in. So you gotta take what you can sometimes. Now I'm gonna have to. Now I need the market to be good for the next 4 or 5 months so I can build up a new cash position. Claude says, hello. Do you like your wine red? There's a good question. Um, I'm okay. Like I'm okay with the market doing this. It sucks, yeah, and absolutely, and I can understand, especially for new investors, it can induce a lot of fear. But these are the days where you get the best deals. These are the days where, once we've recovered from it, the things you bought today are, you're going to have profits bigger than if the market was just sailing along and you were doing your normal dollar cost averaging. So I'm okay with it. Lance says, all I have to say is, holy banana bread. What is your prediction for the TSX, S&P 500, and commodities for February and March? Oh, you're trying to double month me. You're double monthing me. Um, there's going to be a couple of things. So if we get a war in the Middle East, so if the U.S. starts hitting Iran, then we could have a choppy start to February. If that were to happen, like let's say it happened this weekend or even early this week, that could certainly cause a little bit of choppiness in the market. And I will say, this is the thing, Lance, I have been wrong the last 2 months in a row, predicting where I thought that month was going to go. And I've been more I've been very conservative in my recent predictions, but the market has absolutely exceeded everything I have predicted. I actually thought, now if we go back to the beginning of January, I thought January was going to be a very volatile month, and that we would end on the green just a little bit above the blue line. I just realized something. I got January right. I just realized I actually got it right. I was about to say I epically failed because of how well the market did, but today put me pretty much where I saw us at the end of the month. Now, I will say, we arrived at my destination, but not in the way I was expecting. Absolutely not in the way. It's like we took a completely different route there. Just for that reason, I still call myself wrong, even though I actually was right, but I'm still wrong. Well, oh boy, talk about confusion, huh? But yeah, so okay, so February. What do I think is going to happen in February? So, as I said, if we get a war, that's going to kind of choppy things up, and depending on how far it goes, um, a war with Iran. So if it happens, it's either going to be very short or very long. And I say that because I think Iran, I think they might capitulate. Oh boy, that's a fun word. But actually, I think they might back down. I think they might back down and sort of, try to negotiate their way out of it. That's what I think will happen. And I know there's some of you who think that's not what's going to happen. I think Larry thinks that the planes will be flying anytime, pretty soon. But I think it'll be kind of a last minute thing because nobody really wants to fight the U.S. Especially right now. I mean, the U.S. Any country that renames their Department of Defense the Department of War, you probably don't want to fight with them. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's kind of be that situation. So I do think we're going to have a green month, though. I'm going to say once again, I think we'll be above that blue line. I don't think we're going to be. I don't think it's going to be a huge amount once again, but I still think we will be above the blue line a little bit more than what we're apparently going to end on today. And we could actually still fall below the blue line. There's still time. Rory says, sorry, Jim, am I late for a Black Swan event? This is not... It is a black swan, and it's not. It's a partial black swan, and I say that because the expiration of futures, all of that stuff, the leverage stuff, that we knew that was going to happen. The black swan, I guess, would be the pick, Trump's pick for the new Fed. That's probably, so I'll say a half swan, a half black. So what is that? A gray swan event? Maybe? Kelly says 398 MSTE. I'm glad I didn't jump in with both feet at $5. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't either. But yeah, if you did jump in, if I jumped in, I probably wouldn't sell. I would probably sit on it and let's see what happens. Rory says, I bought 24 shares of bank. I predict Monday will be down 400 points. Okay. It depends on what happens. Now, guys, we do have the Financial Express. It's still going. So this is amazing. We've made it through this month. So this is kind of cool. I never really thought, when I gave you guys the option to let the Financial Express run till however late you guys want it, I didn't think we were going to make it through January. I really didn't. I thought, we might make it like the first week of January. That's what I was thinking, quite literally. But here we made it all the way through January. Now the first February show was open for the Financial Express. Now, I have. Thinking about it, like I'm really liking these. I'm really liking doing these market opens. So, or sorry, market closes. So I'm thinking we'll do this. I think going into January, let's change things a little tiny bit. So if we drop the Financial Express, so if we fail, let's say today we don't get the 4 supers or the 4 gifted subs, so we don't have a show on Monday, and we wouldn't have a show on Tuesday, but we have our normal show on Wednesday, and then we would restart the Financial Express until we lose. So I think we'll keep the Financial Express for this year, but we will, if we miss a day, we have to wait until the next Wednesday to get back on it. I think that works. I think that works. That way, we can miss a couple days here and there, or we'll go that. We'll go with that. We'll give that a try for at least February. We'll see how that goes. But that's what I'm thinking, because it is kind of fun being here doing the market closes. It takes up a lot of my time, but let's do it. Let's see what happens. All right. Rory says, that's all I bought. Falling knife, I wager for a while. Oh, boy. Scott is in the house. Good afternoon, fellow citizens of planet Earth. Nice. For some reason, that reminds me of Duran Duran, because they have a song like, what is it? Hello, Planet Earth? Is that the name of it? Do we have any Duran Duranis in here? I don't know. Is that what you call the fans of Duran Duran? Are they Duran Duranis? I know a lot of you are in that 80s age, so I'm not sure what they were called. I like Duran Duran, but I'm not really a crazy fan but I did like them. Scott says, I'm swimming in the Red Sea today. There we go. Rory, I got wrecked on HND today. Still in, but barely. Yeah, you see, that's the danger. Oh boy. Oh, we're back. There we go. As I was saying, Rory, that's the danger of playing those 2x leverage. Imagine if you were playing a 3x today. If you were playing one of the 3x's, like a 3x NASDAQ or something. Oh boy. Well, the NASDAQ, yeah, I mean, instead of 1%, you'd be like 3% down. I mean, yeah, that wouldn't have been good. All right, Brian says, I'm down a solid 1.64% today. I'll grin and bear it since I'm mostly dividend stocks and ETFs. Oh, now that you mentioned bear, Brian, that's kind of funny. Did you guys notice there's something new behind me? There's something new in the background, and it might have to do with our 10,000 sub show. So I'm just saying. All right, Rory says the play money got more wrecked than anything else. That's good. I mean, yeah, if you want to get wrecked in your play money for sure. All right, happy Friday all, says Stan. Nightbot talking about the Financial Express. We got Lisa. Hi, everyone. Did any of you take advantage of the big dip in precious metals? I'm hoping some of you guys took advantage, because I really definitely some good stuff in there for sure. Rory says, looking at Angico and Kinross, still too high, in my opinion. Whoops, we got 1 minute to the bell, guys. 1 minute. Let's see, I bought gold and silver yesterday. Oops. Ian says, holy crap, I jinxed it by asking when the last time we had a red month was. That's right. That's right. It was last April. But we still got time. And keeping in mind, let's just take a peek in again. And we'll head up to the TSX. Oh boy. We actually, look at that. We wicked down to the blue line again. We're still above it, only by 0.18. And guys, this one's, see that little D there? Those of you who have this on a big screen can see it. But that means we're delayed. So we are 15 minutes behind on this data. So no, we still got 15 minutes to find out if we finish. First of all, the bell. Market is close. And goodbye, January market. Goodbye, January. It was nice knowing you. Hello, February. Oh boy. So yes, what I was going to say. 15 minutes delayed on this one. We'll see if it. We'll see what it looks like. We're coming back in 15 minutes to get our final. Now we do have the final, of course, on the S&P. There's no delay on this one. The S&P 500 had a green month. They finished up 0.89%. So green month for the S&P 500. Now the Nasdaq is delayed. I'm not sure why that one is. The Dow Jones Industrial not delayed, and that one is up as well. And it is up, yeah, it finished 1.64% for the month. So pretty darn good. And I don't have data. The Russell did finish well above. I don't have the, it doesn't actually publish me the data. It doesn't give me the data on the Russell. I don't know why. But we don't have the data on the Russell, but it's well into the green. So right now we got the Nasdaq. And the Nasdaq is just above this line, so we got 15 minutes of data. Well, actually 14 minutes of data to see if the Nasdaq can stay above, and to see if the TSX. So we got two of them right now. The Nasdaq and the TSX fighting to stay in a green month. We'll know in roughly 13 minutes. Claude says, agree. Same with Cameco, in my opinion. I want to buy, but not at this price. Lance says, do miners sell closer to spot price or futures price? I read they reference futures, but sell closer to spot price. I would definitely say that they probably do sell a little bit closer to the spot price, but there are other considerations in there as well. And keep in mind, when you're looking at a miner, that miner is not going to just have all gold. They might have gold, they might have some silver, they might have some copper, some zinc. So you have to sort of take that all into consideration. So obviously, if they're 90% gold and 10% silver, for example, well, obviously that might sway the price in one direction or the other. Let's see. I think we'll see the next red week. Not as bad, though. And let's see. Lisa said I added to my silver stack today. Nice. All right. Tom says, call it a mini reset. Yeah, I would call it that. I think that's pretty cool. Kelly. Oh, boy. The Asian AI guy said that silver was going to crash. Who knew he would be the soothsayer? Yeah, but you know what? His timing was really far off. So what can I say? Let's see. Did you newt the stream? Nope. I'm still broadcasting. It's still Rogers giving us that weird thing where I freeze. I don't know why. I can't wait till that goes away. It's lost any kind of oops. Uh-oh. I swear the second I mentioned what had happened, Rogers came back and hit me again. What the banana bread? All right. Oh, wait a minute. First of all, Samantha said, I bought some gold and silver on the dip today. I hope I won't regret it. Well, I'll be there with you. I did get into, well, here, I'll show you guys. Let's So I've been, one of the things I have been looking at is IVN. Where it is? There it is right here. So IVN, they broke out of course, this channel, had a really great week. But now they've come right back down. Normally I like to wait for a channel, but because of what happened today with gold and silver, I feel pretty confident that they're probably going to, at the very least, I think they'll get back up to about 1850, maybe by the end of next week. That's what I'm hoping. And I want to ride that. So I did get in there. I'm sitting in here right now. I think I think at one point this afternoon I did get up to about a $25 profit, but I'm going to hold out. We're going to hold out and see where this all goes. All right, Rory says this is a great time to increase the divvies. Yeah, absolutely. That's the great thing with covered calls, right? On days like today, you can grab them covered calls and you are effectively getting a higher yield just because of the calculations for the yield. So that's not a bad thing. Roku is in the house with a happy Red Friday. Did buy a bit of CCO and LUG on sale. Nice. All right. Scott says I scooped up some Microsoft CDR. Nice. And I'm actually sitting. I've got a swing trade right now using the Microsoft CDR. So I am sitting in there. I did. Did I do it with Microsoft? No, I think I did it with Air Canada and Tesla this morning. I averaged down a little bit, but then Tesla, of course, turned around and came up, and I was just like, fantastic. Brian says, nope, was my Bluetooth, I think. Oh, okay, there we go. Marina says, hello, markets. Had another wow day today. I finally opened a small position in AGCC and CPCC. Super exciting. Congratulations. Candace's latest video gave me that final nudge to jump in. All right, well, there we go. Yeah, I love that video. Like I was so excited when I found out about AGCC. So, had to make that video, had to make it. And it's funny because, I had that video made early in the week. Like that one was made, gosh, I think Thursday, not last Thursday, but it was made on Tuesday. It was done. I finished it on Monday. I filmed it on Monday and had no idea that it was going to be dropping on a day that we had a big crash. But sometimes things work out that way. So maybe some people trying to figure out what's going on with gold and silver will run into that video. I don't know, maybe. All right. Hugo Melu says, done with cover call ETFs, biggest scam ever. Ever created, all of them. Oh boy. There are cover call ETFs that are just crap. Absolutely. I will not dispute that in any way, shape, or form, but there are some that have been really good. Now you have to also look though, and this is kind of that thing. So with cover calls, you have to sort of realize, first of all, yes, you are, of course, you're losing some upside. You are losing upside. That is the cost of having that income. Now, if you are a younger investor and you've got a long runway ahead of you, yeah, cover calls are probably not the route to take because your goal should be to get whatever you can, basically invest in whatever can give you the highest total return. And a lot of times that's going to be some of those bigger growth stocks that may have, fairly moderate dividends, but they'll certainly get you there. Now, if you're in that position where, especially, and this is the other end of the spectrum, if you're looking at the retirement end of the spectrum, where your goal is not to grow, your goal is not to grow your portfolio, you're no longer your focus. Your focus is now to get income. So and you got a couple of ways you can do it. You could still stay with growth, but then you have to pull out stocks. You have to sell. You have to start selling stocks so that you can, get some of that, melt down, I guess, some of your earnings. So that's how you would get your income. With a covered call, you don't have to do that. So, if you choose the right ones, and there are right ones. So when you look at ones that have really, really high yields, well, those ones are aggressive. Those ones you are absolutely losing. You're absolutely losing a little bit of that, of your net asset value for the most part. Hopefully if you've got a high yield that can at least move sideways, I like to think, and this is just me, there's many people who will argue with me on this, but I like to think 15% is that dividing number. Once you go above 15% on a yield, I start to look at that and I start to question, well, okay, you're being too aggressive. And, and I don't like to see, especially in a bull market. In a bull market, I do not want to see a covered call ETF failing because that's not, to me, that's just not worth it. Now, there are some income people who, are okay with that because it's like, I don't care. I just need that income because that's what I'm living off of. I still think even as a full-on income investor, if you're in retirement, I still think you can make smarter choices. So, and I know that you're not a fan of those covered call ETFs at all. And you don't have to be. There's many great ways you can have a very successful investing career without even ever touching covered calls. So you don't have to touch them for sure. So, but they're not all scams. They might just not be right for you. That might be the better way to sort of approach that. All right, Rory says Hawks and Doves, peace, man. And we got Mary in the house with a hello all. Well, hello, Mary. Mary, of course, is our official captain of the like button. So with 104 of you in here right now, I'm hoping we got 50 likes. I'll refresh it over here on the test box, and we'll see if we're there. I'm hoping so. I'll have some coffee here while I wait for that to load. Guys, 32. Holy banana bread. Guys, let's get to 50. Just take a moment, click that thumb. Let's get us up to 50, and then we'll go from there. We're going to work towards 70 later in the show, but for now, let's get to 50. Perlovia says silver stackers will be weekend shopping. Enjoy. Yes. Roy says MSTE is the biggest scam in my opinion. Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of MSTE. It is their cover calls are aggressive, and strategy. I love what I love what strategy does, but oh boy, it's hard to invest in. I think it's a hard company to be running an aggressive covered call strategy on for sure. So is it a scam? I wouldn't call it a scam, but I wouldn't call it a good ETF by any way, shape, or form. Marina says, my prediction was that Trump would push the nominations so the new Fed chair could cut rates by summer, offering temporary economic relief to help secure the midterms. Not so sure now. No, this guy's a hawk. He's a hawk. Yeah, I don't. Oh gosh. Kevin Warsh. I don't see him being an aggressive rate cutter. So, yeah. Wahipple says, hey, looking like the Bears got out and are on a feeding frenzy. Yep, the Bears are running today. The Bears are running. And probably the most craftiest username I've ever run into recently. Sylvester's still alone. I love this. Stocked up on HDIV and EQCL. Nice. Anyone watching? TSX related discounts. Here you are. Nice. And right now we got about 3 minutes, actually about 2 minutes, and we will have our final data. We'll have our final data in. So right now we're sitting on IVN. So actually, you know what? For the 2 minutes, let's go big. Let's see. Somebody spilled grain on the tracks. CN engineer told me that one. There we go. AGCC, come a little. It's only down 25% now. Bears eat the grain. Oh, there we go. There's Larry. Hey, Larry, welcome to the show. Let's see. I'm really seeing BTC to 60K the next 2 weeks, depending on what. Yes, Iran. I am, like I said, guys, I'm a little concerned with Bitcoin under 85, and if Bitcoin can't get back above 85 soon, Larry could be right. Larry could be right. Game over. Oh no. Oh well. Oh boy, Rogers, I can't believe it. We need better internet. That's what I'm saying now. Actually, Rogers has been really good. And I hate to say that about Rogers. They have been really good up until this week. This week, oh boy. Doorpat, holy cow! How's everyone doing today? I FOMO'd into silver and gold today. Yeah. I mean, I have a swing. I started a swing on IVN, but I think we're good. Okay, guys, we're now at that 15-minute mark, so we can take a gander here. We'll start with the TSX, and we do finish in a green month. So the TSX finishes the month up 0.33%. So our green months, they're continuing. Not a great green month. All right, and let's take a look at the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ also finished in the green, but oh boy, really close. Up only 0.11%. Oh boy. But everybody finished in the green. There we go. I like that. Although, and let's take a quick gander once again at Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? Come on, Bitcoin. Bitcoin needs to get above this line. Whoops. Oh, guys, I'm not even sharing that. There we go. Bitcoin needs to get above this line. This is that 85,000 mark. I need to see them above it. I'm worried if they stay below this. I'm very, very worried. All right. And just very quickly, back to the TSX, just because, here we are right here. We're just a little bit above, and the NASDAQ right here. As you can see with the NASDAQ, we're pretty close. Like, it started to come back down, but we're in the green. The month is in the green. Paralovia says back timing for CNR. Let's see. You Are Beautiful says, I don't drink coffee, but when you drink it, I really want to love it as much as you seem to. Coffee is just so good. Now, mind you, this is coffee with a little bit of nutmeg and a little bit of cinnamon. So it's got a little bit of extra flavor in it. Rory, Ottawa posted, yes, they did. A 26 billion deficit at Bloomberg report, Trump with the new Fed chair, and of course tariffs. So yeah, there is that. That's another factor as well, for sure. Yeah, we did have a record, pretty much a record deficit. But this is not a surprise. If anybody was surprised by this number, they clearly have not been paying attention to what's been going on in Canada with the tariffs and with some of the supports that have had to come out because of the tariffs. So, yeah, it's kind of what we're in. Now, this is the other side of this. When we talk about infrastructure spending, we talk about getting that infrastructure off the ground and moving, well, we really got to do it because we're creating a very big price tag and we do need to pay it. So we definitely need to get a big move on with infrastructure. Don't let me down, government. You probably will, but don't do it. Just don't. Navigil says, I was at my dealer and he said more sellers than buyers the last few days. He even said they gave 10% off spot or did not want to buy. I was lucky I sold a week ago. All right. Was that with silver, Navi? Is that what you were selling? Rory, they told me to buy gold and silver. Good thing I didn't. Knew it was too high. All right. And let's see. I do not understand why anyone would pay a premium to have a stake in Bitcoin with MSTR/MSTR. Sorry, MSTE/MSTR. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I have exposure to strategy through HHIS, but MSTE is something I don't want to. If I thought there was a really good chance I could do a swing, it would be a very short-term thing. But even then, a little worried about that. Let's see here. Lance says, I meant spot price, ZAG USD versus COMEX futures. All of these tickers get confusing. Yeah, and that's fine. It's fine. Futures are interesting. Like I will look at the futures in the morning sometimes, just because they will give me a general idea of the overall sentiment. It doesn't mean just because. So if the futures are down in the morning, it doesn't mean 100% that the market's going to be down. It doesn't. It is an indication that there's a good chance the market might be down, but it doesn't always. It doesn't always play exact. So I always kind of take it with a grain of salt. Now, if there were a situation where if the futures are down big time, well then, yeah, you're probably getting a red market. But I still like to look at them. I still like to get a general feeling for this, because and it's not even the futures. I don't care what's happening with the futures. I'm using the futures to get a general idea of the psychology going on with investors as we head into a new market. All right. Rob says all the banks are down. Yes. Um, let's see. Adrian from PII is committed to MSTE. In my opinion, big mistake. Yeah, I like Adriano. He's a nice guy, and he really knows a lot of his stuff. I think I do disagree on the MSTE. I know him and Gary Gill are both very diehard on it. And I think JJ likes it too. One of my mods. It's outside of my risk level. It's definitely outside of my risk level. But also keep in mind, so Adriano is a income investor. I'm a growth income investor. There's a big difference. So growth income, that's your hybrid version. So I need some growth and I need some income. I need both. So that's kind of where that will color some of my opinions on things like MSTE. I can pass. I can easily pass a pure income thing, especially if it's aggressive and the total return is not doing its job. Because there's a lot. Like I think you can have some really good income with half decent total returns. It's possible, and that's kind of where I try to steer my ship anyway. Larry says I picked up the Berkshire B2X today. If you check the stock, it hit a bounce point. It's hit twice before. Ooh, nice. And that's kind of, and when Larry's talking about a bounce point, guys, it's very much like, when we're looking at my channels and how it moves off of the support and the resistance and moving in between them. That's a bounce point. So the bounce point is hitting that support and then going back up. So yeah, if you've got a history of it, then your odds are a little bit better than it might go back up. Let's see. Pato was green a few minutes ago. Oh, nice. Ian says Utes is barely down 0.02%. Yeah, and I'll tell you, they actually. Well, here, let me show you something. Let's go over here. So yeah, they would fall. Utes, a lot of what Utes holds, a lot of what they're holding is from the industrial services. So there's like pipelines, utilities, all of that. They actually didn't do that bad today. So yeah, I can understand that. Utilities still have their pants up. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. RMAX is up, so is Div. Oh, I love Div, and I love RMAX. So you gotta like that. All right, we got the Financial Express going. Perlovia says hard to beat good old Div. It really is. So Div, which is for those of you who are new to Div, Div is a diversified royalty. So they buy royalties, and they're a little stock. They have a half decent dividend. Well, here, let's actually pull it up. We haven't been here yet today. All right, here we go. DIV, diversified royalty, right here. All right, so let's pull up just the last year. You can get a general idea. They've gone from 270 up until up into the 380s. Now, one of the big reasons is they actually bought another royalty. So they bought another company per se, not a company, but their trademark, their royalty, all of that part of the company. Chiba Hut, which is a cannabis dealer in the States. But they buy it and then they sit back and they don't have to do anything. They simply receive the money for the royalty. And that's kind of a nice thing about a company like this. You don't have a big overhead, and it tends to make it a little bit more stable. So, and they have been doing really, really good. So even though they're only $3.88, they've got a pretty good dividend. Like, take a look at this, a monthly dividend, 7.326 in the form of 2.4 cents a unit. But when, when it's this cheap, you can buy a lot. So I'll tell you what I've always done with Div. Div has been that stock that if I'm going in and let's say I've got $100 and I'm just going to buy a couple stocks. If I got $4 left over at the end of it, I just throw that onto Div or something. Now, mind you, in Wealthsimple, you got fractional, so you could always go fractional instead, and you're fine. One of the big benefits of the Wealthsimple, and here, oh guys, let me drop this in here. This here is my affiliate code here to Wealthsimple. So if you've not tried Wealthsimple and you want to give it a whirl, and I like it, I think it's a really good broker, especially for people who don't want a lot of complication. It's really easy to use. But anyway, if you use that affiliate code, you guys get 25 bucks. I get 25 bucks. It's a win-win. So I do like it. And guys, I will say this right here. Nothing wrong with having more than one broker. I've got Wealthsimple. For me, I've just got two right now. I got Wealthsimple and National Bank, and I do use them both. All right. Doorpat says, yes, I was saying, Candace, better sell that Tesla swing today. It was the only thing green for me. Yeah, I did. You know, I put in, as usual, I put in a stop loss, and it came back and hit it right away. I'm like, seriously. But I was okay because I did want to get out of that. And honestly, if it hadn't triggered, I probably would have manually triggered it myself because I really did want to get in on IVN as well. Rory says EI2 Canoe wants to get in at 16, but never got there yet. Oh, I know. EIT is just doing so well. Elaine is in the house with a hey, y'all. Ian says, should have bought something today, but I had already decided to pull my divs to put it in my checking account. I'm living on the divs now. Might buy something in my TFSA next Friday. Okay, and you will, and guys, you're going to get more opportunities. If you didn't buy today, you will get more opportunities. I can just say we have an administration in the U.S. that shakes things up quite a bit. So there will be more opportunities over the next 3 years, for sure. I have no doubt. Andrew says, bought DOL and URL on the Canadian Stock Exchange. Nice. So Dollarama. I do like Dollarama a lot. And a lot of that sector has had a bit of a pullback over the last little bit. So hopefully you got a good entry point there, Andrew. And actually, here, let's take a look. Let's head over to Dollarama. Here we go. Oh, 183 now. Well, that's not too bad. So yeah, like this sector has been consistently down recently. And you can sort of see from their 200s, they have come down. So these are not bad entry points. And Dollarama, I mean, it's a great company. They have a very good business model, and I can see them being back up above 200 later in the year. But for now, not a bad entry point. All right. Larry says, with the wise abandoning of Tesla selling cars, giving into Toyota's new EV battery and solar factory in the USA, I believe them to take a year and a half to have full production of the robots. Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing, Elon's been saying this for a while. Tesla is not a car company. They're an AI and robotics company. And yeah, absolutely. You know, I would like to see, I'd like to see where this is all going. And I mentioned this yesterday. I think the integration between Tesla, XAI, SpaceX, Starlink, all of that. I think that's going to be really big in the future. So, you know, it'll be worth watching. It'll be worth watching for sure. And I do love the fact that Tesla is so predictable. They're so predictable in that they're always going to be volatile right now. And as long as that volatile sticks around, I'm going to be making money off of Tesla. So I'm okay with that. Rob says, is the new Fed chair Kevin Warsh good for the TSX, S&P 500, gold and silver? Well, he's not there yet, but he will be. Is he going to be good for it? It's hard to say. I think, like, you know, part of what we saw today was the fact that he was an unexpected choice. Very unexpected. I mean, because he's a lot more hawkish than everybody was expecting. Most people were thinking that Trump was going to bring in somebody who would just follow his orders and cut the rates. Even though technically that person wouldn't be able to, they still have to get a majority vote within the Fed. So no, this guy's actually, I think Kevin Warsh is more hawkish than Jerome Powell is. So will he be good for the market? I think once the market gets used to him, I don't think he'll be bad for it. I don't know if he'll be good for it, or I think he's going to be, let's just say neutral. I'm kind of neutral on his effect on the market once the market adapts to him. Obviously, change will, rattle the market a little bit in the process. But I think once he's actually in there doing his job, and we got a good indication of how he's going to run the Fed, I think it'll be fine. Danielle says, I bought 4 times XIC today in my RRSE because it was going down and I wanted to buy more. Yeah, that's a dollar cost averaging. Is this an orange swan? Well, no, it's like a gray swan, half of a black swan. So we'll say gray. It's a gray swan. All right. Larry says, only issue I have is USA only has 6 to 12 days worth of weapons they can fire. Israel will be out of anti-missiles in the same time. Iran can fire 600 to 1,000 daily for 6 months. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so maybe, this is the thing. If the U.S. is going in, they're obviously hoping for a short war. As I was kind of mentioning earlier, like I said, if this happens, it's either going to be a short war or a really long one. Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I'm really hoping that, Iran just sort of steps back and says, all right, we'll do what you're saying. Well, they can always try to just delay it and say they'll do it, because Iran has done this before. Iran has said, yes, we will do it. We'll allow the nuclear inspectors in and we'll follow all of your rules, but then just became problematic after the fact. But we'll have to see. I don't know. Let's see. Larry says, problem is leadership doesn't work the same as here. Taking them out means nothing with the religious factor. However, they have low power and hardly any water. They may do a treaty if they survive. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Samantha says, planet Earth Duranis. Oh, is that all right. I asked that question a long time ago. Am I that far behind? I'm a half an hour behind. Guys, I'm going to probably start skipping things. Planet Earth, Duranis. I love it. I love it. All right. Never heard what she said. What do you think about URL on the Canadian Stock Exchange? It's funny. Every time I look at URL, in the back of my mind, I keep saying Universal Resource Locator. So that's just funny. So URL, Name Silo Technologies Corporation here. And it is, it's at least penny adjacent, 173. But let's take a quick gander at this. In the last 3 years, I went to the 3 years because then you can get a good appreciation. They've really been moving in the right direction. So I like what they're doing. I do like what they're doing. Let's see here. Let's actually head into their back end. And here's a beautiful thing. They got they have debt, but not a lot. 13% debt to equity. Their return on equity, so they are profitable. They're up to 2.62%. I'd love to see that come up for sure. So right now, fundamentally wise, I got no issues at all. And let's come down here, and you can sort of see here, one of the interesting things here is that, all right, let's see here. So they're more of it. Let's see, they make the company makes investments in both public and private markets and focuses on opportunities in a wide variety of industries, excluding the resource and resource service sectors. Okay. All right. So they're basically doing investing. So yeah, that's not bad. It's an interesting thing. I don't know. Like, I would do a lot more research before I would get into something like this, but their fundamentals are fine. Their fundamentals are enough that I would be willing to go further and look a bit deeper on them. And I will say, normally, a lot of times the little stocks that Andrew brings, they're usually pretty good. Like, Andrew does a little bit of homework and doesn't just bring me crap, which I like. I really appreciate that. Sergey says, happy very red Friday. I could not resist. Minus 10% and bought some AMAX. Ooh, that's a nice one. All right. Relaxing Rains says, good day, all. What did you sell your Tesla at today, Candace? I sold my 200 shares, missed the 38.6, but sold a few minutes ago, 38.21, just before it dropped to 37.82. A minute before close, $300 profit. I sold it before then, but, and actually here, look, I have to look it up. Give me a second here. Let me just go in and take a quick gander. All right, where are we? Oh gosh. It actually helps if I click on the right thing. There we go. All right. So what did I sell it at? Um, 38.40. So I sold it at 38.40. So yeah, I did miss out on a bit of profit, but and this was the thing, I wanted to pull, like I had a significant, I had a significant amount into that trade, so I wanted to free that up because I wanted to open another trade with IVN. So that was kind of the reason. Otherwise, I would have just left it alone if it weren't a situation where, because of what gold was doing, I really needed to get in there. All right, now I did notice something, guys. We have relaxing rains. Okay, we have first of all two gifted memberships from Relaxing Rains. The first one going to Wolfman, and also we got a Guller Moraveris. There we go. I have to look over there because it doesn't show me here. But guys, that is a Goat Squad event. So here is Goat Squad event number 1 for Relaxing Rains. And because Relaxing Rains did too, we get to see my favorite goat, Space Goat. Haha, I love Space Goat. All right, and guys, that's halfway to a Monday show. So if you guys want a show on Monday, a market close, 2 more gifted subs or super chat, super thanks. Wait, I actually can't do a super thanks. Super thanks, you can only do that on like a video after the fact. I don't think you can do it on a live one though. Okay, let's now I just need to find where we were. There we are, right there. All right. Oh, there we go. All right, here we go. Rory, can someone lend me $100,000 next week? Mine is tied up in locked in GICs. I don't have a spare 100,000, Rory, but hey, if anybody else does, work it out with Rory. I don't want anything to do with it, but that's fine. Unless there's a commission for you. If I could take 10%, we can talk. All right. Sue says, happy Friday. I took advantage of the dip today, bought some SLV, HL, and COPP. I will hold as longs. Yeah, if you're holding those as long-term, you're going to be fine. Absolutely. Scott says, today is a day when I consider tapping my line of credit to buy up these deals. Yeah, I can understand that for sure. All right. Larry says, I've been keeping an eye on Grindr. The people who own most of the shares borrowed on them, and with this emergency, they may be forced to finally sell a high amount, dropping it to 8 or lower. Interesting. I did not even realize that Grindr was publicly listed. But yeah, why not? All right. Lisa says, who is the Asian AI guy? Is it on YouTube? Because I watched a video today that kind of fits that description. That's a good question. I don't know, actually. I've never watched the Asian AI guy. But yeah, we'll have to find it. I'll have to watch one just to see. Larry, I've had an eye on it for a few months after they tried buying it all for 18 bucks. All right. Let's see. Ian says, I worked construction for years. Glad you don't talk like me. Banana bread is better than saying beep, 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 beep. There we go. I hit the like button. Number 29. Number 29. Oh, gosh. Guys, where are we at? Now I have to look. Because I had set you guys a little goal. Let's get to 50 first here. And we got to be at 50. Oh, there we are. 62. So, guys, let's get 8 more likes in there. Let's get it up to 70. And then I will not mention likes again the rest of the show. So let's get it to 70 so I can shut up. Larry says, I don't know if you do construction in America, but I learned how to speak Modelo while doing it. There we go. Doge 1080. And let's see. Michael says, for me, today is a good day to ignore my accounts and go do some hobbies. Yeah, you know what? And I will often say this. If you're the type of person, if you're especially a newer investor, and days like today drive you crazy, and all you want to do is sell everything you own because it's like, oh my God, everything's going to zero. I got to sell. If you're that type of person that you're going to be tempted and it's just going to, or you're just going to have an absolutely miserable day watching it, then you know what? Close up your computer for the day, go to a movie. Apparently, Melania has a new movie out today, so she could probably use some support. But um, just take some time away. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to take time away from the market. I mean, the market can be, and if you're a long-term investor, um, you don't need to watch the market every day. You really don't. I know most of you guys are probably, you guys, a lot of you guys are do trading and other things on the side. So what can I say? Let's see. Holy cow, Utes ended up 0.20% in the green. Nice. Uh, oh, Larry's being crafty, guys. Kevin is going to wash away the gains. There we go. Larry says, I'm bullish on crypto and plan on making a lot of it later this year. I expect the DOJ ETF to give me 100 to 30% by December. Nice. Let's hope. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. All right. And yeah, we're 2 away from Monday's show, by the way, guys. eBank bucking the trend. Ooh, what's eBank doing today? Well, it is European, so it might actually be doing half decent. Let's take a gander here. Yeah, look at this. eBank up 0.49%. So this is your Evolve European Banks Enhanced Yield ETF. And this, even though this is it's more of a niche product because it's European banks, but they actually beat Bank last year. And Bank had a great year, but eBank had a better year. So eBank has outperformed Bank, and and they got a pretty good dividend. Like, take a look, 10.603%. So I like eBank a lot. Rob says I got out of SVR ETF with $154.86 profit, but sad I didn't have 1,800 when it was at its all-time high. Okay, yeah, I can hear you. So why would Trump pick Kevin Warsh if he is hawkish? That would be Powell 2.0, and that is why. That's why investors are scratching their head today, and that's the confusion part that the market wasn't expecting, and that did help. That sort of really did help what we're seeing today for sure. Nobody knows. Maybe Trump knows, but he hasn't really, as far as I know, he hasn't said why, or at least his real reason. Ian says, I'm beating the TSX year to date. Nice. Again, the deer greed indeed strikes again. Nice work on that Marlet column blossom. All right. Adriano should be my favorite influencer guy because we both want covered call income, but I don't like MSTE. Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. Boy. I almost, I should do a show where it's like an MSTE intervention show. And I'll bring him and Gary Gill on. I'll try to talk some sense. That would be funny. And I love both of those two guys. So Andrew says, what are your thoughts on URL on the Canadian Stock Exchange? Very cool stock. And we just looked at it. That's because I'm so far behind. Yeah, absolutely. Samantha says, my Bitcoin ETFs are both in the red. I thought about continuing to dollar cost down, but don't want it to be too big of a percentage of my portfolio. Stay put, sell, and buy back in cheaper. Really good thing. The problem is I would probably stay put at least to see what the beginning of next week is going to bring. Because, if it stays below 85, and if we start to get, if let's say something does break out in the Middle East, there's always that potential that you could then at that point look at perhaps selling, buying back in cheaper. But you always want to be careful with that. I do it because normally I've at least done some TA, and I feel confident that I'm going to be able to utilize that. But here's the thing. If you just jump in and you sell it and you're like, okay, I'll just buy it back cheaper. There's always Murphy's Law where as soon as you sell it, it turns around and it never comes back down. So you got to be careful because that can happen. All right. Claude. Oh, a QQQ. Maybe a dumb question. There's never a dumb question. Um, let's see. Okay, so maybe a dumb question, Candace, and I don't know your percentage for each, but would you say you make more money with your trading or your investing? Um, it's a good question, and it's not comparing apples to apples, though. That's the one thing. So when I say it's not comparing apples to apples, it's not like the invested money and the trading money are the same size. But at this moment, the investing money doesn't provide any. It kind of is its own thing. It doesn't really provide anything. So at this moment, right now, I would say most of the income that my day-to-day living income is coming from the trading. It's not coming from the investing. Likes are up to 59. Awesome job, everyone. And of course, I said I'd shut up at 70. So let's find out if I'm shutting up here. I'm just going to refresh. And, oh, I can still talk. We're at 68. So until two more of you guys hit the like button, I can complain about them. There we go. Rob says, remember how the U.S. took out the recent foreign leader with secret weapons and only 20 soldiers? All had nosebleeds and were coughing up blood, never mind about 6 months of war. I don't know, Rob. I never really heard any of the details, but that sounds kind of weird. Wolfman is here. I love it. Thank you for the membership, Relaxing Reigns. And that's a funny thing, because sometimes I'll see the gifted memberships and I may not recognize the name. It might be one of our lurking folk. And that's today. It was Wolfman. But hey, Wolfman, thank you for popping up to say thank you. The Epic Coder. I'm using Wealthsimple. Is there any trick to avoid conversion fees when buying USD? Yes and no. There's this thing called a Norbit Gambit. So it's basically a way of you're basically buying an ETF basically in Canadian, and there's a similar one. Is it an ETF or is it a stock? I think it's a stock actually. But you're buying the stock in Canadian and you're basically journaling it over to US. Now, that is available on Questrade. It's also available on National Bank. And it is going to be available this year on Wealthsimple. I don't know if it's available yet. Now, any of you guys on Wealthsimple, is it available yet? Because they did announce that it would be available in 2026. So it might already be there, but I don't know. But it's called the Norbit's Gambit. And I know there's at least a good video on it. Canadian in a T-shirt has a really good video on it. Now, that's with Questrade, but if it's available on Wealthsimple, you're basically just doing the same thing. So you are paying a journaling fee when you normally do this, but that fee is a lot less than the conversion fees. So it is a very good way to do it. And of course, that does not, of course, it doesn't really save you from the exchange rate, of course. Larry says, I'm trash at day trading. I can't predict anything in short time frames. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beautiful thing. That's why, and somebody was asking me yesterday, is it easier to do swing trading or day trading? Swing trading is a lot easier because you have those longer time frames. And if you do have the ability to ride out bad picks, like, that's what I do. Like if something goes down, like Microsoft went down yesterday on me and it's still in the red, but I've got the luxury. I can sit on that for a bit. It'll be back and I'll be fine. So, if you don't have the luxury though, it is kind of, you can still hurt you, but then always have an exit strategy. And that's the thing. It's all about strategy and plans. So when you're day trading, you're making a lot of short trades and a lot of them are going to be losers. That's the one thing you have to accept if you're going to day trade. But your goal is if let's say you're making 30 trades in a day, and let's just say they were all the same amount, either win or lose. You want to make sure your wins is you have at least 16 wins. You need at least 16 wins to be profitable in that situation. Obviously, the more you can get, the better, but you are going to be weighing your wins against your losses. So you kind of have to do that, and that's why you have to have a strategy, because if you don't have a strategy, you can turn your losses into bigger losses than the amount that you get in your wins. And in that situation, you could have a situation where you could have 16 wins, 14 losses, but your losses are just bigger. And that could tank you as well. Let's see, tanked a bit. It's time to buy. Bismarcky is in the house with a happy Friday. Relaxing Rain saying you're welcome. All right. Oh, and I do see something. Let's just zip over here for a second. We have a super sticker in from Marina, $1.99. And the Goat Squad. The Goat Squad is getting is taking over. They're pushing the Bears away today. And that does bring up our TSX Goat. So thank you very much, Marina. And guys, that puts us one away from a Monday show. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. Now let's get back here. And where are we at? I'm right here. What are your thoughts on ZOMD? Zoomed Technologies financials are way too good to be penny adjacent. Makes me nervous, but they are awesome customers. I've looked at them before, but let's take a gander at them again. Let's pull them up here. Here we go. ZOMD. Here we go. Zoomed Technologies. So yeah, penny adjacent, but let's take a gander and see what's going on here. Now this is interesting. Yeah, they were doing really well, but now they've kind of come back to earth. They've had a correction after this big pump. So I don't know exactly what went on with the company, but what do they do? First of all, what do they do? I feel like, wait a minute, something makes me think it's a social media thing, but I could be completely wrong. Let's see here. Yeah, here. It's a mobile app user acquisition platform that integrates with numerous global digital media outlets. Okay. So it's kind of almost like an sounds almost like an aggregate. So fantastic. It's an interesting, it is an interesting technology. And I'm just going to take a look at their back end here quickly. Let's see here. Oh boy, yeah. This is what I remember this part. So they've got 5% debt to equity. That's fantastic, but this is crazy. Their return on equity, 81.28%. That's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I would definitely say that. Yeah, holy banana bread. And I'm just wondering if there's any news. Like, I also always check the news as well, guys. So let's see, third quarter, release of third quarter. Yeah, just the third quarter, nothing recent. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with them. Right now, their fundamentals look pretty good. And that return on equity, like I said, that is a little bit crazy. It's high, and I can't see anything that would be skewing it higher artificially. So yeah, absolutely. All right, and oh boy, I see. Doorpat's in. Let's get the 1st of February show. All right. Well, first off, that is our our Professor Goat. So we got Professor Goat out. So that is our 4th. So we do have a show on Monday. However, it's not the 1st of February. It's the 2nd of February. The 1st of February is Sunday, and we do have a show on Sunday, by the way. That's our normal This Week show every Sunday. So we have that, and we've now got Monday in the books. And there's also going to be a bonus for the channel members on Monday. So on Monday, now that I know we have a show, we're going to do it at 7 p.m. So 7 to 8 p.m. on Monday, I will be holding my first ever office hours. So what is an office hour, you might wonder? Well, I'll open up a live stream, and I'll just sit around. I'll do my normal thing, and if you guys pop in and you got questions, I'll answer them. So it's just going to be this extra hour every week on Mondays. Yeah, and it'll be cool. It'll be fun. So I am looking forward to seeing how that first one goes. The one thing I will say, though, is that with the office hours, I'll make them. I think I'll make the replay available. I will make the replay available for the channel members, but I won't release it to everybody else because normally with the channel member live streams, a year after we've done them, I always release them so you guys can see the ones from the year before. Just give you an idea of what goes on in them. But with the office hours, I don't think I will. But I'll see. We'll see. Well, it's a brand new thing, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes and go from there for sure. All right. And guys, like I said, I'm really, really far behind. So if you really want, if you've got a question and you really want it answered, be sure to use those QQQs in front of it because that way there, I don't skip over those, but I will skip over stuff, guys, because I am quite literally, I'm about, actually I'm better. I'm about 20 minutes behind. All right. Let's see. Luke said, Candace, I started positioning K-Bro linens today. Commercial laundry. Seems defensive. Thoughts? K-Bro. I've heard that name before. I haven't really looked a lot at them, but whoops, let's try this again. K-Bro. There we go. K-Bro linen. Here we are. All right. So let's take a gander. First of all, let's take a look and see how they've done. Okay. All right. So interesting. A lot of volatility. Yeah, they haven't really done that much. Do they have a dividend? 10 cents monthly. So yeah, small dividends, 3.52. And I just want to take a quick look at their back end. All right. Good amount of debt, 118% debt to equity. So once again, guys, if you're new to debt to equity, that means that for every dollar that they own, they have $1.18 in debt. So they have more debt than they have equity, hence it's above the 100%. Their return on equity, 8.30%. So I'd love to see their debt come down a little bit. And that could be, and that's the thing. And I always say when you have a higher debt, it pays, if you're interested in the company, it pays to actually look into what they're using their debt for, because there is good debt. So for example, if it's a financial company, it's all going to be good debt. I mean, I don't want to say it's all going to be good debt, but they kind of work on debt. So banks, things like that, you're always going to have a high debt to equity ratio. That's just the way it works. But for companies like this, I tend to say, okay, well, let's see what's going on. Maybe they did an expansion, and that's fine. That's what I would call good debt. If you're grabbing debt because you're expanding so that you can basically increase your cash flow in the future, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. But that's why I say always sort of look into it. Don't always look at something and say, oh, they've got 100 and some odd percentage of debt to equity. I'm just not going to look at them because of that. Don't do that. Just if you see a high debt to equity ratio, just find out why. Find out why, and then make your decision based on that. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this company. I'm not happy with the direction they're, I'd like to see them drift up a little bit because, I mean, it's not like they have aggressive dividends. So I'd certainly like to see some movement to the upside. But right now they're kind of moving flat. That would, for me, it wouldn't be a company I would invest in, but that would be something I would certainly take into consideration. Michael said PAG's had an upgrade to $13 2 days in a row. That PE around 8. That is cheap. Okay, nice. I heard they stopped showing the Melania. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Anchor says, "What a craptacular day." Was there an actual reason for what took place? Yeah, there was there was three main reasons. Anchors. In a nutshell, we had some heavy profit taking end of the month. We had a big momentum heading into the end of the month, so people taking profits, and that's, different people rushing in, locking in gains, all of that fun stuff. The other was, of course, the nomination of Kevin Warsh as the new Fed chair after Jerome Powell steps down. He is, he's actually he's a very hawkish pick. So that kind of confused the market quite a bit because everybody was expecting a much more dovish pick from Trump. The other is, of course, there was a big leverage unwind. So a lot of leverage cashed in today, a lot of liquidations. So that, especially in silver, that tends to be, in a gist, that tends to be what happened. All right. Um, Andrew, that is so mean. Oh boy. Let's see here. All right, and guys, like I said, I'm going to be jumping ahead a little bit because I am so I'm so far behind. Kevin Warsh is married to the founder Estee Lauder's granddaughter, who is a mega donor for Trump. Who would have thought? So that might be what got him in. Maybe Trump maybe doesn't realize how hawkish this guy is, and that you know what that means. Of course, as soon as he says no to Trump, he's no longer going to be a favorite. Let's see. Just remember, you only lose when you sell. Absolutely. I saw the Financial Express. Okay, there we go. Rogers like left us alone for like 30 minutes or so. I can't believe it. They had to come back in. All right, Stephen says, is silver too useful to be evaluated in a high manner? Yeah, this is the whole thing. So I've been talking a lot about Group 11 periodic elements. So we're talking copper, silver, and gold. These are highly, highly conductive materials. So they're really, really, really good. And there's a lot of use for them. So yeah, these are going to be, that alone is going to certainly keep them growing. And yeah, it's going to be huge. Like copper, we're expecting to have a shortage. So, and right now, silver, there's a pressure, like a lot of Chinese people over in China. I guess that's where you find the Chinese folks. But they are starting to, instead of investing their money in real estate, which used to be a very traditional norm for Chinese folks, they're starting to buy physical silver. So there's putting that pressure on it as well. I mean, China's not even exporting silver at this point. So yeah, they're going to be fine. Like, they are absolutely going to be fine. All right. Let's see. Andrew says Blossom Social has a fear greed index on their app, and it was spiking in the last week. Seems to be a good thing to follow. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's see. Max says happy Friday, everyone. Rob says, Candace, did you get out of your XMA? No, I've got XMA. I've got that. I added it to the challenge. Was it? I don't know if I added it last month or if it was one of the ones I added this month, but I like XMA. So XMA, and I'll just pull it up. This here is your iShares Materials, so capped materials index ETF. And now today it is down. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, because why? Materials are down. Here's that big drop down to 45.38. But I don't call that a drop. I call that an entry point because this is an ETF that's going to do fantastic things over the next few years. So yeah, I love XMA. Would not sell. I will buy. I won't sell. That's and just wait. I mean, you know, the next 0 to 100K challenge, it's going to be a fun one because I bought a lot of stuff. I bought a lot. Marina says Warsh has been pretty vocal on issues like DEI and climate, which Trump hates. He's also softened his stance on rate cuts, now advocating them in 2026 if inflation stays low. All right, there we go. Chad is in the house. Made it. Welcome. Wealthsimple, yes, no conversion fees if it is 100K or more. Oh, really? Well, that's nice. Actually, that would be a good way to go. If there's 0 conversion fees, you wouldn't even need the Norbit's Gambit. But for under 100K, they will have the Norbit's Gambit. I don't know if it's active yet. So guys, let me know if the Norbit Gambit is now active on Wealthsimple, because they did announce that it would be coming out this year. I just didn't hear if it happened yet. Paul just got here, busy getting strata and mortgage snapshot documents. I have never scanned so many pages. Oh boy. I remember the day. Like quite literally, back in the day during university, I would be going down to the medical library because I did a lot of research there. And I would quite literally be bringing rolls of dimes, because back then you could photocopy for a dime. I would bring rolls of dimes from the bank, and I would then photocopy pretty much. I'd find a book, and I would be photocopying chapter after chapter, because it was the Dalhousie Medical Library, and I was a St. Mary's University student, so I couldn't actually borrow anything from it. So that was pretty much all I could do if I had stuff that I wanted to document. All right. Anyway, it reminded me of that, Paul. So let's see. Paul says at Questrade you can do the Norbit Gambit, but sometimes you just eat 1.5% fee to grab something that dipped more than the USD. One you sold, then bought a Canadian stock. Yeah. Now that's one problem with the Norbit's Gambit. You can't move money instantaneously. It's a process. It takes a bit of time to move it over. Like, I think about 5 days. I've never actually done it. I've never had to, but I think about 5 days. All right. Abigail says, I have had good luck buying US funds in my Tangerine USD savings and then transferring that to my USD account at Wealthsimple. Not perfect, but cheaper than Wealthsimple and less complicated than the Norbit's Gambit. Okay. Could we call that one the Tangerine Gambit? Maybe. Scott says, got the Microsoft for 30.53 today. Are you still planning to swing trade it? They aren't a bad bet to buy and hold, in my humble opinion. Yeah, but well, here's the thing though, Scott. I mean, that account is for swing trading. That's what it's designed for. It's not an investment account. But yeah, no, I like Microsoft. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see this one come in. Oh no, I did. I thought I had a new super, but then I looked at it. I'm like, no, we already seen this one. That's how far behind I am, guys. Was MSTE flat 0% for the day? I don't know. Let's take a look. I don't think so. I thought it was down a little bit. Let's see here. MSTE. There we are. No, look at this. They were flat for the day. Oh, they recovered at the end of the day. So yeah, they were actually up 1.24%. So yeah, wow, look at that. Yeah, MSTE had a good end to the day. So does that mean? Let me just take a look at Bitcoin again. I don't know what Bitcoin did, but yeah, Bitcoin had a little bit of a recovery in the last part of the day, but they're still, like I said, I need to see Bitcoin above that 85,000 so I can stop worrying about them. Let's see. February 1st is a regularly scheduled program. Yeah, exactly. That's this week because that's on Sunday. Nightbot needs to update its script from January to February. Yes, it does. But oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I was going to say, but it's not February yet. But yeah, if it was referencing Monday, yeah, absolutely. That's on me. I will fix that. Scott, I was watching a clip from the Rundown TVO podcast. They mentioned that BlackBerry supplies the software for BYD. BlackBerry provides a lot of vehicle software. I mean, BlackBerry is going to be huge, guys. And they had some pretty good dips this month. So I am very bullish on BlackBerry. I actually hold them in the 0 to 100K challenge. Dorpat says, I meant the first market day of February. All right. I kind of figured that, All right. I already answered this one for you, Anchor. So yeah, we did have those three main reasons that we were talking about. So federal, the new nomination for the Fed, the leverage, so basically leverage liquidations, all of that. So market calls, you got it, margin calls, all of that fun stuff. And the profit taking. Those were the three main drivers for what we saw today. But they certainly amplified each other, that's for sure. All right. Sorry, meant to say the customers of Zoomed are awesome. So Apple, Amazon, and MBA. Nice. I like that. Let's see. I missed the beginning. I guess silver dumped big time. Paper silver versus physical silver reckoning. There we go. Yeah. Steve says, I tried to send a sticker and got an error. I guess I can only send them from my PC and not my TV. Not my day. I figured if I'm down almost 8K today, that's another $1. Well, there we go. That saved you $1, Steve. There we go. I like it. Paul says both Wealthsimple and Questrade both say they have new things coming in 2026, but still waiting. Okay. And Kira says, I'm glad I made it. I wasn't able to join until 5 o'clock. I imagine I missed a lot of discussion with how the red day was. You did. But that's what the replay is there for. So what can I say? Luke, I recently sold my tech and precious metal stocks, moved into natural gas and utilities. So my screen is mostly green today. Yeah, well, utilities had a great day. So yeah, and even Utes, those of you in Utes actually wasn't too bad today either. All right. Oh, I caught up. I can't believe it. Michael says, hello, Candace. Any thoughts of Pure Point Uranium? It's a Canadian uranium penny play, which I think should be okay longer term or taken out. All right, Pure Point. Let's go take a look at Pure Point. Here we go. Pure Point Uranium right here. Penny stock. I should have like a little siren that goes, penny stock, penny stock. Oh yeah, look at this, 64. Now they were up a little bit higher, but all right, let's take a look at their 1 year. But they have moved up. So uranium, here's the good news. Let's start with the good news. The good news is that, yeah, uranium is, I'm very bullish on uranium. And as we move more and more into AI, more and more into AI data centers, all of the power that's going to need is putting it is definitely putting I would say a supply shock. It's putting a supply shock on uranium. Now, here's the thing most people don't realize is that the amount of uranium that's being used right now is more than the amount of uranium being produced. That's a big thing. That means that we are heading. Now, why don't we have a supply shock right now? That's because at one point, like after a lot of stuff that happened in Japan, like with Fukushima and things like that, there was a huge glut of uranium on the market and in storage. So that glut has been kind of preventing us from seeing that we have, this production use, short. And as that storage starts dwindling down, then we're really going to start to see it. And that's going to be really interesting for the price of uranium. So, that could help a company like this. Now, they are small. I guess that's on the back. At their key data here. Okay, there we go. Rogers doesn't seem to like uranium. But all right, looking at the back end of uranium, or Pure Point. So right now, they don't appear to have any debt, but they are not profitable yet. So right now, look at this. The return on equity, negative 201.07%. Pretty big. So I don't know. Here's the thing. Penny stock, risk, it wouldn't take much to, to really hurt a stock like this. When there are so many other better plays on uranium, I would be more inclined to sort of lean in that direction. Now, will this stock turn itself around? Maybe it might. I would call this a play money move. So I wouldn't put a lot into it. Like you put like a few bucks or something, see what happens. But I really wouldn't go very deep into Pure Point at this point. Now, if they can, once we get some new data, if that number starts coming down, then I would maybe reconsider at that point. But at this point right now, I still think it's a bit risky, even though I'm very bullish on uranium. Here we go. Yeah, 4 to 5 days. That's kind of what I was thinking. So yeah, 4 to 5 days. Norbit Gambit took about 4 to 5 days, then 2 more days if you are withdrawing CAD to your bank, and that is business days. Oh yes. Let's see. Nice, Luke. I did the same thing the past week. Still hold on to my still hold some MMY through their financials are way too good. And Paul's saying freeze. freeze? Yes. Well, hopefully Rogers gets their act together. I'd like to have a week without a single freeze, like it's always been, like for forever. All right, guys, holy banana bread. We're at 1 hour, 45 minutes. These shows are scheduled for an hour and 30 minutes, but that's okay. If you guys are talking, I'll keep going. That's the way it works. So for now, have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Don't get too cold out there. Don't get too worried. I think we're all going to be fine. And, oh boy, look at this. We got a super sticker coming in to interrupt my out monologue, but that's fine. I don't mind. Lisa in with $2.99 super sticker, and that is that unlocks. And this is the last time you're going to see this one. The Ice Goat. The Ice Goat is being retired as of tomorrow. And we will have a Valentine's Day goat in that special 5th spot whenever we get there. I always like to have that extra little reward. And like I also said, just before we go as well, let's just do a quick sub check. All right. Oops, I have to get to my dashboard here. Let's see here. All right, so we are 39 away from 10,000. So it's almost here. And as I mentioned, if you look behind me, you see that little wheel. That wheel's going to come into play on our 10,000 celebration show. So that's going to be part of our game as we play. And I didn't really talk about it, but I'll talk about it on Sunday. We'll talk more on Sunday about that. And Scott says Lisa got the last goat in. There we go. Lisa got the final goat. That's pretty darn cool. All right, guys, I have one last thing to say before I head out, and that is bye-bye. Whoops. It helps if I've clicked the right button. And that is